The hair salon with no mirror. In the small, sunny village of Omilua, there was a hair salon that everyone talked about. The salon was built beside a big mango tree, and the air always smelled like shea butter and coconut oil. The owner was a quiet woman named Mama Nena. Mama Nena was not like other hairdressers. She didn't talk too much, she didn't shout, and she never used a mirror in her shop. Yes, you heard right, no mirror at all. The villagers found it strange. How can someone fix hair without showing the customer the mirror? But the funny thing was, everyone who came out of her salon looked very beautiful. Their hair always looked perfect, neat, and shining like the morning sun. Yet no one ever saw how it was done. People would whisper, maybe she uses magic oil, or maybe she can talk to the spirits. No mirror. That woman must be hiding something. But no matter what they said, people still went to her shop, because no one could braid hair like Mama Nena. Her shop was small but beautiful. The walls were painted with bright colors, red, yellow, and green. There were beads hanging at the entrance, and soft traditional music always played in the background. On the wall, there were pictures of African queens and long, flowing hairstyles. Inside the shop, there was always peace. No gossip, no noise, just the sound of combs, laughter, and beads clicking together. One afternoon, a young girl named Ada came to get her hair done. She was nervous. It was her first time there. "Mama, please," Ada said softly. "Can I see how the hair looks as you do it?" Mama Nena smiled gently. "My child, beauty is not always seen in the mirror. Just trust me." Ada nodded slowly. She sat down on the little plastic chair. Mama Nena dipped her fingers into a jar of hair cream and began to part Ada's hair. As her hands moved, something strange happened. Ada felt very calm. It was like cool breeze was blowing only on her head. Mama Nena finished. She felt sleepy. She tied Ada's hair with a small red scarf. "Don't open it yet," Mama Nena said. "Go home and open it when you're alone." At home, Ada opened the scarf in front of a mirror and gasped. Her hair was perfect, neatly braided in a style she had never seen before. Even her mother was surprised. "Who did this hair?" her mother shouted. "You look like a princess." Ada smiled and whispered, "Mama Nena." Word spread again through the village. But still, no mirror in that salon. Why? What was Mama Nena hiding? Nobody knew. Until the day Chica from the city arrived. Chica was not like the village girls. She came from the big city of Lagos, where buildings touched the sky and cars honked all day. She wore shiny glasses, had long nails painted red, and carried her phone everywhere, even inside the toilet. Chica came to visit her grandmother in Omilua for the holidays. But she didn't like village life at all. "No electricity, no Wi-Fi, no ice cream. This place is dry," she complained. One evening, as Chica sat outside plaiting her corn, her little cousin Ada skipped by with her new braids shining under the sun. "Chai, who did your hair like this?" Chica asked, touching Ada's head. "Mama Nena," Ada said proudly. Chica laughed loud. "You mean that old woman in the hut with no mirror? Please, that's bush work. In Lagos, we use ring lights and hair dryers." But when Chica saw how many people kept going to Mama Nena's salon, her curiosity grew. She called her friend Uche on the phone. "Girl, I want to find out what this Mama Nena is hiding. How can someone do hair with no mirror? I'm going to record everything and post it. Watch, it will go viral." The next morning, Chica marched into Mama Nena's salon like a lioness. She wore tight jeans and had her phone camera ready in her purse. "Good morning," she said, chewing gum. "Welcome, my daughter," Mama Nena said softly. "I want braids, long ones, and please make sure the lines are straight." "Because beauty is not only what's on the outside," the glowing woman said. "The mirror you want so badly, it shows the outside, but this one shows your inside." Tears filled Chica's eyes, herself like this before. She looked again, and this time she saw her younger self holding her mother's hand, smiling. She remembered the love, the hugs, the bedtime stories. Her heart felt warm and heavy. Then she saw Mama Nena, older, quiet, braiding hair in peace. She saw that every touch from Mama Nena was like a whisper to the soul. A whisper that said, "You are more than what you look like." Suddenly, the trees began to shake and the ground trembled. "Time to go back," the glowing woman said. Chica felt herself spinning. The forest faded. The light disappeared. She opened her eyes slowly and found herself back in the salon. Mama Nena was tying a scarf gently over her hair. Chica looked around. Everything was normal again. The music played softly, and the fan was spinning. But she was no longer the same. She touched her chest and whispered, "What just happened?" Mama Nena smiled. "Sometimes, my daughter, the hair is only the beginning." Chica stood up slowly. She didn't even ask for a mirror. She just said, "Thank you, Mama," and walked out. But her eyes were wet, and her heart felt brand new. That evening, Chica walked through the village like someone who had just returned from a long journey. She didn't hold her phone. She didn't chew gum. She didn't even roll her eyes like before. She just kept touching her chest and looking up at the sky. When she got home, her grandmother looked at her and said, "You're glowing, my child. What happened at the salon?" Chica said quietly, "Mama Nena showed me something special." The next day, people in the village started talking. "Did you see Chica's new hair?" But more than that, did you notice how quiet she is now?" Mama Nena smiled gently. "Sit down, my child." Chica looked around the shop. Still no mirror. She frowned. "How do your customers check their hair? This is not how we do things in Lagos." Mama Nena just said, "Trust the hands of someone who has braided 1,000 heads." Chica sat down, but kept sneaking glances at her phone. She was ready to record everything, just waiting for the perfect moment. But something unexpected happened. As soon as Mama Nena touched Chica's head, the air changed. The salon became quiet, too quiet. The music stopped. Even the fan stopped spinning, and Chica's eyes started to close. She blinked and shook her head. No, I'm not sleepy." But the warmth in Mama Nena's fingers made her feel like she was floating on soft clouds. She blinked again, and then she fell into a deep, deep sleep. Chica was no longer sitting on the plastic chair in Mama Nena's salon. She found herself standing in the middle of a quiet forest. The trees were tall, with thick green leaves whispering secrets to the wind. Birds with golden feathers flew above her head, and the ground sparkled like it had been touched by stars. "Where am I?" Chica asked, looking around. A soft voice answered, "You are inside the mirror of the heart." Chica turned quickly and saw a glowing figure. It looked like Mama Nena, but younger, wearing a flowing white wrapper with cowries on her hair. "This is where I show people their true selves," the woman said. Chica blinked. "True self? No, I just came to get my hair done." The woman pointed to a large pool of water nearby. "Look inside." Chica walked slowly to the pool. When she looked in, she gasped. It was not just her reflection she saw. She saw memories. She saw herself shouting at her mother. She saw the time she laughed at a classmate who had torn shoes. She saw when she lied to her teacher to escape carry water from the stream this morning. Chica had changed. She smiled more. She listened when others talked. She even played with her little cousins and helped her grandmother with cooking. But inside her, she kept thinking about what she saw in the forest, the mirror of the heart, and something began to bother her. She wanted to ask Mama Nena more questions. So 2 days later, she returned to the salon. Mama Nena was sweeping the floor. "I knew you would come back," she said with a smile. Chica sat down gently. "Mama, why don't you use a mirror?" Mama Nena looked at her for a long moment, then sighed deeply. "A long time ago, I used to have mirrors everywhere. Big ones, beautiful ones. People came from far to see their hair shine. But one day," she continued, "a young girl came. She had a scar on her cheek and didn't smile much. When I finished her hair, she looked in the mirror and cried. 'I'm ugly,' she said. 'I hate my face.'" Mama Nena paused. No matter how beautiful the hair was, she couldn't see it. The mirror only showed her the scar, not her strength. Chica's eyes grew wide. "I realized that the mirror outside was breaking people more than fixing them, so I removed it and started working on what was inside." Chica felt goosebumps on her arms. "Mama, how did you take me to that place, that forest?" Mama Nena smiled. "I didn't. You went there yourself. When your heart opened, it found its way." Just then, a small girl ran into the salon. "Mama Nena, my mummy said I can do my birthday hair here." Mama Nena chuckled and opened her arms. "Come, my child." As the girl climbed the chair, Chica stood quietly and watched. She now understood. The hair salon wasn't just a place for braids and styles. It was a place of healing, a place where hearts were combed gently and beauty was found without a mirror. The holidays were almost over, and Chica's mother had called to say, but Chica wasn't excited. She sat under the mango tree beside Mama Nena's salon, holding a small notebook and a pencil. Her braids were still neat, But it wasn't her hair she was thinking about. It was her heart. She had changed, and she wanted others to feel what she felt. That evening, Chica walked to her grandmother's house and made an announcement. "I want to have a small program in the village square," she said, "just before I leave." "For what?" her grandmother asked. Chica smiled. "To share what Mama Nena shared with me." On the last Saturday of her stay, something special happened. Children, mamas, and even old papas gathered in the village square. Mats were spread on the red sand, and a small stage was made with planks and palm fronds. Chica stood in front of everyone. She wore a simple Ankara gown and had beads in her hair. There was no makeup, no shiny lights, no loud music, just her voice. She began, "Once upon a time, I came to this village with plenty pride and noise. I wanted mirrors, I wanted shine, but then I met someone who taught me that beauty begins inside." The crowd was silent, listening. She showed me a forest in my heart. She showed me who I really was. Not just my face, but my feelings. Not just my braids, but my behavior. Chica turned to Mama Nena, who sat quietly on a wooden bench, smiling with pride. I was wrong to think her salon was old and boring. Mama Nena's hands do more than hair. They touch the soul. People clapped. Some nodded. A few aunties even wiped their eyes. Then Chica reached into a small bag and pulled out something. It was a wooden box. Inside was a mirror, but not an ordinary one. This one had no glass. Instead, it had words written in bold letters: kindness, patience, honesty, love. These are your true reflection. "I made this," Chica said, holding it high, "and I want every home in this village to make one too." Let's remind ourselves what real louder this time. Even Mama Nena stood up and gave Chica a warm hug. "You are ready, my child," she whispered. "Now go and spread the truth wherever you are." That night, as the stars blinked in the dark sky, Chica packed her bags for Lagos. But this time she packed more than clothes and shoes. She packed wisdom, peace, and the magic of the mirror of the heart. And deep inside, she made a promise. "One day, I will come back and build a salon just like Mama Nena's. A place where hearts are braided too." The end. If you're loving this video, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. It's free, and it helps us bring you more awesome content. Don't forget to turn on the bell so you won't miss a thing. We're so happy to have you with us, and to Drode. If you're enjoying what you're watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community. Don't forget to click the bell so you're always the first to know when a new video drops. Thanks.